You are watching Access to LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the January 4th meeting of the Michigan City Sanitary Board. You can find more information for this meeting at www.accesslaportecounty.org.
All right. So I want to call to order the Board of Commissioners regular meeting Thursday, January 4th, 2024. This meeting is our December meeting, and it was moved to January 4th. We will have our regular scheduled meeting for January on January 24th. So, call to order. Holt Edgar.
Present.
Chris Yagowski.
Present.
Tim Warner.
Present.
And Tim Smith. All the commissioners are present. I'd like to ask for approval of the regular board minute meetings, or minutes from Wednesday, December 6th. Can I get a approval or a motion to approve? Any questions, first of all, on them?
No questions, motion to approve.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay, motion is approved, minutes are approved. Item 4 is public,
You seconded, I didn't hear anybody.
Yeah.
Did you call for a vote?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
We're jumping ahead of you.
yeah.
All in favor?
Yep. Next, I'll do the public comment. Public comment. Public comment. Any public comment? Seeing none, the public comment period is closed. Hi, how are you? So, we don't have any quotes to open. So Dan, you want to do the safety report, please?
Afternoon.
Hey, how are you?
Very good, thank you. Okay. This report is for November, but I'll provide information through the end of the year as well. The Refuse Department did not have any recordable injuries until November 24. Then a refuse truck accident and report resulted in 3 lost workday injuries. One of those employees has returned back to work. The department accumulated 165 days without a recordable injury up to that time. So the Water Reclamation Department did have 2 employees in their department that suffered recordable injuries, but both those employees have returned to work. So, and in December, we did not have any Refuse Department or Water Reclamation Department injuries. We didn't have any injuries in either one of those departments in December.
That's great.
So if we take a look at 2022 in water reclamation, we had 4 injuries with 90 days off. With 2023, we ended up with 5 injuries, 101 days with 2 days of lost workday. And then if we look at Refuse Department in 2022, we had 13 injuries, 275 days, 93 of which, plus 93 days that were away from work. In 2023, we had 6 injuries, 3 in 1 day on the 24th. And that has resulted through the end of the year in 82 days of restricted work activity and 245 days away from work. So there is some improvement. In the January 24 meeting, I should have information from the insurance company about where we stand on claims and the cost associated with claims.
Okay.
I anticipate it'll be less. So, but we have some work we need to do, and so Mr. Miladovich and I have been talking about that quite a bit. In your packet, I have reducing incidents of solid waste collection, and it's a 5-page packet of information. And it gets into some of the injuries that happen within the industry, and then how we can reduce fatalities, accidents, and injuries, not only in the industry but very specifically within our operations. So a lot depends on safety culture. A lot depends upon safety meetings, one-on-one contacts with people, observations of crews when they're out on their routes, and making corrections on the spot, so to speak. And so what Mr. Miladovich and I will talk more about this on the 24th, but we're looking at some things that we'll present probably on a monthly basis, and these are leading indicators. Some people call it a scorecard, other people call it a dashboard, that type of thing. But we'll look at training, equipment and vehicle inspections, safety observations, safety meetings, and accident investigations. We'll focus on those areas. Rather than just presenting the lagging indicators and then the work we do on preventing those accidents when they do occur, we'll look at, we're going to try and focus more on leading indicators. And hopefully the lagging indicators will follow along in a positive way. So that's what Mr. Miladovich and I are taking a look at. I've mentioned that we'll do this in the refuse department. I'd also like to implement that throughout the entire district. I think it would benefit certainly collections, since we haven't made much improvement in collections in the last 2 years. It's been pretty much the same. So I think a number of these activities should help out considerably. The remainder of the report reports and has quite a bit of detail. Very active during that time period, and be happy to answer any questions and any comments that you may have.
Any questions from any of the board members?
Your reports are always very thorough and very detailed oriented. They're excellent.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And I'll have more detail, and Mr. Miladovich and I will go more into the dashboard next meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your support.
Thank you. Okay. Scott,
Yeah,
you can stay back there if you'd like.
I can.
Okay.
Leave.
All right.
I think I can make it that far. I'm actually getting better.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, a lot better than last month, or last time I was there. I just, 2 handouts.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. There you go. I'll give you years later. All right, that's it. I'll be right back. Steady. All right. The cash balances, I'll have at the end of the meeting for you.
Okay.
So they're almost, I'd like to just look at them one time.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
And just so you know, everything looks pretty good. And since we have the next meeting, the 24th,
Yeah.
you know, I'll have the year-end numbers.
Okay.
Which is pretty good. I mean, most people don't have those until February, late February. But I'll have them for the next board meeting.
Okay.
And with that, I'll have a summary by month.
Okay.
So, anyways, and then the next thing I just handed out to you is the budget performance report for the operating fund, the refuse fund, and the stormwater fund. And if you go to the last page of those, you can see on the operating fund, we were slightly under what we were budgeting, 285, but we had that in cash reserves, more than that in cash reserves at the end of the year. And you can go through it and you'll see where we're a little short.
Okay.
I believe there's one thing, I'm still reviewing this stuff, you know, and this is through November.
Okay.
I'll have December at the next meeting. I'm still reviewing it because I believe the reason we're showing a decrease there is we purchased that new camera truck and that thing was $300,000. And I'm not sure if we've classified it correctly in the financial statements. Because being an operating fund, we usually put that on the balance sheet and depreciate it. I have a feeling I got put in the wrong account, but I'm going through everything right now.
Okay.
And then if you go to the refuse fund,
Can I ask how would that be put in the wrong account?
when people enter it,
Who's the answering person for that?
No. But there's different interpretations in the accounting field of where you put things, balance sheet or income statement. And we're a little different being a government agency. It's not your typical, so you have to make it a judgment of where it should go in your balance sheet or income statement. And when we did that, they just put the wrong, I probably did it, put the wrong account number on it. But it doesn't really, at the end of the day, it doesn't affect cash or anything. It's just the way we classified it on the income statement or the balance sheet. Because in a typical world, if you would buy a truck, you would put it on the balance sheet, give it a 5-year life, and depreciate it every year. So at the end of 5 years, it'd have a balance of 0. And that, historically, it kind of tells you when you should replace those assets based on those asset lives. So, but here, 2 of the funds are on a cash basis and the other fund's on a semi-cash basis, which is the proprietary one, and that's based on user fees. And then the other 2 are cash basis. But like I said, I'm still reviewing this. It's pretty quick. And for December will be locked down. We don't really, November, it's kind of like an off quarter month. But the December numbers, I'm gonna make sure are, each line item will be tied out.
Okay.
What's not good?
No, I was looking at that 196 grand total on the bottom of the stormwater fund. You said that's that $196,000 in parentheses on the last page.
Yes.
Is negative?
No, that's the adopted budget. That's what we budgeted. We budgeted it for a loss of 196,000.
Okay.
Our actual came in year to date. We were actually positive 244,000. So we were way better than what we were expecting at the beginning of the year. At the beginning of the year, we thought we were going to lose 196,000.
But it shows revenue totals of 646,000, then expense totals of 843.
That's the budget. That's not
what was
actual.
predicted.
That's what we
That's not the
predicted
actual,
at the
yeah.
beginning of the year.
Just look at the top there, it says
Yeah.
adopted budget.
Because I thought we were gonna go dip in to some of the cash reserves.
The important one is the use at the end, 61%, 25%.
Right. So we actually came in 244,000 better. Or I'm
Right. It's the third column.
yeah. So I'm still going through this stuff. I mean, but we were way better than budget. Even if something in that year-to-date transactions column comes in higher, which I don't think it will, we're still like way ahead of where we thought we were going to be. And if you look at the cash balances, you'll see it there too. So that first column is the budget. That's what we were expecting to happen. It was a whole lot better than what we were expecting. And the same with, I believe, refuse. Because refuse, originally, we predicted that we were going to lose like 690,000 because we had put money aside for some new equipment, and that one came real close to what we were expecting. We actually had a deficit of 788 year to date. If you go to the second column from the end. And again, so we were, within 100,000 of budget on that one.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we still have, cash in those accounts too. So, and that one, I'd have to dig into, like you can see, some of it was on repair and maintenance of equipment. We actually had 53,000 higher than what we had forecasted, and that's and then
Do you have depreciation in there?
no, we don't put depreciation in
Alright,
any of these.
okay.
They don't want it recorded,
Okay,
so I mean, we have that number,
yeah.
but we don't record it. Well, when I say we don't record it, we kind of record it and reverse it out, so it won't appear on here.
Okay.
So, and then the next two pages I gave you are the salary portion of, and what I built into the budget, which I will give you next meeting, the 2024 budget. We filed the city gave 6% raises. And so what we did was follow what the city did. And the 6% with the budgeted amounts, which I'll provide later, like at the next meeting, you'll see that we have enough to cover the 6% increases. So,
Good news.
yeah. So, and like I said, I tried to follow what the city, and we've done that for 6 years.
Okay.
We always try to follow what they do.
Except what we did last year or the year before.
Year before, yeah, we did a little bit more
To catch up.
than what the city had done. But that's about the only year we've done that. Every other year, we've been in line with the city.
So
And,
do these,
go ahead.
Holt, do these, percentages of raise, are they supposed to come before us? Do we approve the percentages?
When you approve the salary resolution.
Resolutions, yeah, that's what we did. Okay, all right.
Which I will have the salary resolutions for you today at the end of the meeting.
Okay.
So you can sign them. But you'll see it's basically what's on these sheets.
Okay, all right.
You know, because, you know, we have other pay, like all those certification pays.
Yeah, yeah,
All that stuff I left at what we were paying this year.
Where was that? Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because, you know, I thought that was fair to leave it where it was at.
Okay,
So really, when you go through that salary ordinance, the only thing that changes are these rates that I gave you.
okay,
So,
okay.
and I apologize, but at the next meeting, we'll be in much better shape than this one. But I think financially, I mean, you look at the cash, which is the key, and we're in pretty good shape. I mean, you know, for not really increasing rates, user rates.
For 10 years or better.
Yeah, for over 10 years. I mean, we've done a pretty good job in controlling the cost of this place without having to raise any rates. You know, because it's been 10 years.
Or cut any positions.
Yeah. I mean, we've kind of kept the, good point, but we've kept the positions pretty much at, you know, where they were. And haven't had to cut. So, and I just think that's a pretty good job, you know, to be able to say that. I don't know anybody else that can make that statement. Do you?
No.
Okay. So, I'd say, any questions?
Any questions from the board? Okay,
Thank you.
thanks, Scott.
Thanks, Scott.
All right.
I'll go back to work now.
Okay. I'm gonna take the chair privilege and I'm gonna welcome the new mayor-elect.
Oh, thank you.
And Mayor, I was going to, and congratulations. And before the roll call or later on in the meeting, I want to respect your time. I don't know if you have any other meetings tonight, but,
I just left one, so I'm good.
okay, all right. Do you want to say anything at this time or wait till towards the end of the meeting or?
Till the end is fine.
Okay, all right. All right, Steve?
So before Steve begins, just add on to Scott's comments about the keeping the rates at the same dollar amount for over 10 years. The efficiency of our facility continues to do very well. Last month, December, total suspended solids removal efficiency of 99.7%. BOD, which is the organic strength removal efficiency of 98.6%. Phosphorus removal 89.7%, and ammonia and nitrogen of 99.9%. So it's difficult to distinguish from tap water when it comes out of the pipe. Although I wouldn't drink it. But,
So having said
Okay.
that, Steve? Congratulations, Mayor. Congratulations, Tim, in your new position. Okay, the first project I've got on here is the drainage improvement and the alley behind 2510 Wabash Street. This is also behind Meyer Glass. As we reviewed at least once before, the new pavement for the alley isn't profiled exactly right. It doesn't all positively drain. I discussed this with Brad Minnick when he was still the city engineer, and John Gorsica. They both agreed that it's probably going to need to be removed and replaced.
Did any of it improve when the drain slots were cut in?
I'm told they were done, but I haven't looked at it in the wet since then. It hasn't rained much since then, honestly.
I haven't got over there either.
But,
Add it to my list.
I consulted with Brad Minnick about the amount of the retainage, which is almost $15,000. So I'd like to recommend that we pay this invoice and hold the 10% retainage.
Discussion from the board, what do you think, Tim?
Is there an estimate of the remove and replace?
The contractor's on the hook for it, one way or the other. We didn't do a separate estimate for that. It was part of the.
What would you estimate the area of pavement replacement is? Is it over 10%? Because all I saw was just those two pictures that you had last meeting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if it looks like it's over 10% of the total length, I would say we should probably hold more. What do you think, Jim?
Yeah, I would agree.
I did the best I could consulting with Brad Minnick at the time. He thought the 15,000 would be adequate.
And it's,
Yeah, whatever it takes to cover the anticipated cost of repair is what you should have told.
so if you think the 10% is fine, then I'm okay with that.
I don't know any better. I
Okay.
consulted our then city engineer.
Any other questions?
Seems reasonable.
All right, so Steve, you're asking us to approve this invoice with a holdback of 10%?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so can I get a motion for H&G Underground Utilities LLC to pay this invoice with a holdback of 10%?
Also to read on here, excuse me, it says, Mr. Gorsica, our engineer, said, the statement appears to be accurate, less 10% retained due to the unacceptable pavement profile. I would presume that he had thought about that as well, and would not have signed this. And I just see he's not here today, but I presume that he would not have written that on there and signed it if he didn't feel that 10% was adequate. Is that fair to assume?
Yep, I would, yeah.
Anything else?
Okay, anything else? I'm asking for a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second,
I will second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, go ahead, Steve.
Okay, the next one is the US 421 sewer project south of I-94. The new truck stop, the Love's Truck Stop, opened, I think it was Thursday, the week before Christmas, if I'm not mistaken. The lift station at that time did not have power on it, so we advised Brian Miller at D&M Excavating that we would accept the hauled wastewater. The truck stop is being billed for water and sewer service for the amount of water that they're using. We noticed that there was no manual transfer switch or Hubble connector on the new lift station. And according to Ryan Miller, that was ordered. It should be in the first week of January. He said he'd get it immediately installed. The topic of taking possession of the new sewer and lift station, it would be premature to go there. But after consulting with Attorney Meyer and General Manager Milotovic, we didn't see any reason to not accept the water from the Love's Truck Stop.
Which is being trucked to the district.
Heretofore, yes. I don't know if the lift station has power on it yet. I meant to call Ryan and ask him about that. There was a delay with getting NIPSCO power to the lift station,
Okay.
which is why he was hauling the water. So I would say this is informational at this point, just a status update.
Okay.
Okay, the next item is really informational as well, the laboratory structural evaluation. I had some correspondence with Tim Crow, the structural engineer at West Janey, and requested a proposal from them to manage a bid process, evaluate bids, provide us with construction administration and inspection work. That has not come in yet. With the holidays, I trust. Probably has lots of vacation time saved up. So, we're attempting to move forward on that. The sewer main extension for the East Area Annex. We had a project meeting on December 21st. I was there, Attorney Meyer was there, Jeff Wright, you were there. And I think we've got a path forward. Yes. On what we're gonna put in the ground. So that's about what I have on that topic. The next item is a little bit more interesting. This I-94 Visitor Center, lift station and Force Main. Chris Limiak at Butler Firm in Suffolk has reached out to me several times. The last time on December 11th, discussing this idea of a sanitary district taking possession of a new lift station and the Force Main and operating it. I've provided here in the packet plan and profile drawings for the sewer. The whole lift station plan appears to be dated 1981. So in my estimation, the Force Main is over 40 years old at this point. And we've never been involved in its operation so far. And certainly not prepared to make a recommendation that we would tell them we would take it over. At least not at this point. If we were to do so eventually, there was a lengthy process that would need to be gone through, the testing, replacement of at least one air relief valve, pressure testing, and all of those sorts of things. I would say we address that at the proper time. They do say they're gonna build a new lift station, because apparently the old one's completely worn out. And we did provide them our construction standards if they wanted to build it to our standards. I've got some concerns about this as far as maintaining this, especially this segment along I-94 here. I'd like to take a drive and see what that looks like out there. I mean, I'm concerned that trees may have grown over it. And I don't understand how anybody was ever planning to do service access on that segment of pipe at this point.
Maybe that's why they wanna give it to us.
They sell. But we were requested, and so put that out there for your information at this point in time.
So what did they do previously?
They own and operate it.
Right, but where does
They're
the,
they're connected to our
It's
system.
connected,
Okay.
yeah.
Next up.
Connected to 212. They're billed for sewer and water.
When you sent our standards with the lift station, what kind of response?
Well, they requested them, so I sent them.
Okay.
I didn't insist that they take them, they asked
No.
for them. I just said to the engineer that we think it would be good if you built it this way, and left it at that.
Okay. I think your recommendation to address this at the appropriate time would be reasonable.
Yes, sir.
Do we know what the force main is made of? Is it like dip or is it?
It's the plans here. I've looked at them pretty closely and I couldn't find
Material construction.
Me neither.
I believe the engineer mentioned that the bit that you could see in the old lift station was ductile iron.
Okay, that's line pipe.
The next item is just, it's information, what's our November land application report to the IDEM. 381.6 dry tons delivered to the farmer. And that report was submitted timely. The next item, I am gonna ask for board action. Our farmer is very interested in renewing, entering a new contract now that the last one's expired. And farmer and his dad have already signed it. And that's actually the farmer's dad that signed it. He owns the farm.
It's been a great program for us.
It certainly has. I mean, this farmer's been fantastic to work with since I've been involved. And he likes our input, the nitrogen and the other nutrients. So I would like to ask the board to sign this agreement so that we can continue for another year. And we'll have two option years as it has in past years.
so do we have any liability, Jim, if they find any PFAS, PFOA on this?
Probably. I mean, theoretically, it's possible, but no matter where you put it, you're going to face that same issue.
If you don't land abide, if you put it in a landfill, you're not gonna have that problem.
Depends on what type of landfill you put it in.
Right, well, it hasn't been considered hazardous yet,
Correct.
so.
But if it changes,
Well, right, but I mean, what I'm trying to do is mitigate our liability on something here. Because like in New York, you've got a lot of areas now that, those municipalities and other people are gonna be, so I just want everyone to be cognizant of that.
It's coming, the land application will not be allowed very soon, I think.
Yeah,
I would like to add to my request at this point, though, that we've now tested our biosolids a couple of times for PFAS, and both times it's tested below Michigan's Eagle standards for no action.
yeah, which is really good.
It is. And the report, your color report I wrote last year, I think it was, I shared that with the farmer after I shared it with you all.
Okay, Right.
Transparent.
Yes, it's absolutely.
I'd like to make a motion, we enter a contract with Public and Lucky Farms.
Hold on one second.
One quick question. Is the dollar and the $4 per dry ton similar to what our contract was previously?
It's the same.
It's the same, okay, good. And I'll second it, if there's no other questions.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
I would point out, they're paying us.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I think that's great.
Oh, yeah.
Which I can tell you from representing several municipalities is extremely unusual. You're usually paying several, double-digit tons, dollars a ton to
Yeah.
get rid of it.
Income sources, good.
Yes.
It helps defray the cost of transportation.
Yeah,
Yes.
Mainly.
even if you're in there, yeah.
All right, next item is really informational. The laboratory accreditation, we've got an annual assessment that has come due. I requested an extension on this to go over it with the board and the new mayor. And they granted the extension. And unless there's objections, it's my intention to come back at the January meeting with a recommendation that we discontinue this commercial accreditation process and enroll ourselves back into the Indiana Water and Environment Association Laboratory Excellence Program. I had presented on that several meetings back.
Yeah.
And I'm going to update that and bring it back.
Yeah. So, when Holt, I think, Tim, were you up in the lab with us? When we talked to Sue up there, she, kind of went through it. So, if she has time and you make the recommendation, I wouldn't mind having her come and you really tell us the difference between the two accreditations, because, she's pretty thorough with it, and, the time it takes to get this accreditation and some of the other things.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Just one other additional point, that we are still doing quality assurance, quality control analysis
yeah.
throughout the year.
Absolutely. And what we do have is we've got a great quality assurance program, and that continues. It's not going to stop.
So just see if she can come.
I'd be glad to have.
That would be great.
Okay, next item I
And
have.
then you can also tell, tell her she can present the short version, not the.
Yeah, that she gave
Gave to us.
the 3-inch binder or 4-inch.
Can I ask a question? As far as does the accreditation affect or impact any funds that we receive or any grant funding, or is it just something that we've done?
It does not.
Okay.
It was something, Mayor, that Mike Cussett started previously, and that's why I'd like Sue to come and explain it, because she did a very good job with Holt and I talking about the differences. It just seems that it's more cumbersome in the reporting for our staff. It gives us a little bit more accreditation, but with what Steve had talked about with the Indiana accreditation, that seems everyone takes that accreditation, Steve, if I'm right about
I
that.
don't know if all the other plants are enrolled in their.
But I mean, for grant purposes and other things?
It's laboratories, as far as I'm aware, is not relevant to grant applications or grant writing.
It just seems like they did it for a reason. Is it to be recognized for something?
That is correct. It was seemingly, as I recall, that continued accreditation was what several different labs aspire to.
Okay.
Yeah.
And as I recall, we were also one of the very few to receive
The only.
the accreditation.
Yes.
But as far as financially, it did not bring
When
us
they needed it.
any such opportunities except awards, plaques of that nature. Which is why we had a very extensive discussion at a previous board meeting talking about you know, why we would even consider changing.
And the
If
accreditation
that helps.
treats, it treats it as a commercial lab.
Okay.
So then we were able to, when other labs went down in the area, we actually processed their lab tests.
Okay.
So, you know, it just is a matter of, you know, and I don't know if you guys can look at this, but what were you gonna say, Holm?
Go ahead, finish your
But I was just gonna say, you know, the $32,000 for the accreditation, I don't know if, you know, the lab tests that we took in really merit having a commercial status for a lab for a municipality.
Look, yeah, the county's lab was not accredited to begin with, so to them it wasn't even really relevant.
Yeah,
Okay.
so,
Good to know. Thank you.
No, that's good.
okay.
Next thing in the board packet that I put in here was a professional services agreement for Center and Dalton Municipal Advisors to conduct a cost of service study, and after consulting Attorney Meyer, General Manager Milotovic, this may be a cart in front of the horse kind of situation. The asset management plan needs to be done first.
Yeah, and I think we table this right now.
That's what I'm going to ask.
Yeah.
Although it's good to have
Yeah,
ready,
Yeah.
when asset management, plan is.
Yeah, won't go to waste.
yeah.
Next item is, and I think I might have had the packets a little bit out of order. But staff organization, Mr. Vladovic asked me to write a job description for a refuse superintendent. We've got a copy of it in front of you. But Mike, you shared that with Mayor-elect and now Mayor?
Yes. I believe I did. Yeah.
Should I ask for a board approval of the new job description? At this point?
Well, first you have to ask for board, is this for an existing position? I
Yes.
know we changing the
The organizational chart has had a refuse superintendent since I've been here.
okay, so yes, then you should ask the board for approval.
Well, I ask for the board's approval for the new job description.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Or wait a second, let Tim finish.
I didn't see anything that I have a comment on, so. All right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes for the job description for the new refuge superintendent.
Thanks for that.
All right, so next we have to approve the org chart. There were a couple other changes move over on the org chart too, correct, Steve? That we discussed?
We added a fleet manager position that reports to the operations manager.
Yeah. And where is that on here? I'm looking. Oh, there we go. Yeah.
A summary of the changes is put on the back side.
Yeah.
Is there a job description for that?
There is not yet, Chris. No.
Is there money for that position?
I'm sorry,
The fleet manager position that we are considering adding.
yes.
Yes. We talked about that.
Yeah.
Yes, because of how we perform this,
Very good.
so.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, is that just to another person is supplementing that position? Or is it a separate position
The fleet
completely?
manager would keep track of the fleet for the whole sanitary district. There's a lot to it. We have over 75 vehicles and probably at least a dozen pieces of equipment.
Well, and the point being there is that the more that we can have a fleet manager make sure that they're all safe and what have you, then that's less accidents, less repairs that we have to have if they're in good repair, so.
If you have all your predictions,
Dan shaking his head and back.
Preventive
Yeah.
maintenance as opposed to reactive maintenance.
Yeah,
They'll also review the routes and include our current routes.
yeah. And that would
Probably,
assist in our pickups as well, correct?
yes.
Yeah. Did we, was there any other changes on this?
The last time I brought it around as a draft, I had combined the refuse superintendent with fleet manager responsibilities.
No, I know that, but I thought we had administrative staff that we moved.
I have a copy of the previous one.
But there has been, with the bookkeeper, but we
Yeah,
haven't
fleet
completely
manager.
finalized that yet. As far as how that's gonna evolve, that's gonna depend on the refuse department.
Okay.
That changed back.
We discussed and determined it'd be way better to wait till you get the new superintendent and have he or she have their input.
And he actually is.
Yeah. Those up here or
No,
something?
it did not. It reverted back to the lower salary.
Because I thought Paul was saying we were gonna move that over there, or some questions in that.
When was that decided?
It's
Okay,
being decided.
if
It's not.
we can have opportunity to look that over
All right.
before the next meeting.
All right, yeah.
It's not decided.
Is there a reason we need to approve this right now, or can we do it next
Well,
meeting?
I don't know what the plan is for
We did.
appointing the
This will move past the.
superintendent.
He's already appointed, so the mayor appointed him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So,
Then I would recommend that you approve it, just so we
All right.
can chain of command,
okay, all right, let's do that.
Cover that.
with the understanding that this receptionist thing is
Yeah, open. All right, so I'm gonna ask for approval of the org chart right now. I think there's gonna be a couple more changes going forward, but like Jim said, Chris is here, who is our new refuge superintendent. So let's go ahead and pass this first, and then I'll ask Chris to introduce himself, if that's okay. So looking for a motion to approve the org chart that's in front of us today?
The proposed 12/27/23 organizational chart.
Yes.
I'll make that motion unless Chris has a question.
My other question was, when we initially approved the foreman job, specifically, we added the fleet maintenance the way we gave the higher salary. So we've redacted that higher salary?
you never passed.
No, we never
passed
passed
the
it.
sal-
We pulled it back, Chris.
Yeah.
We never did it before previously. So it was at the previous,
Where we talked about it,
yeah,
but there was never.
but we
a
never
vote
did
taken
anything.
As to approve, because there was always gonna be modification.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I will second it for the proposed 12/27/23 org chart.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Chris? Do you want to just introduce yourself, please, as our new refuge superintendent?
I'm Chris Carter. I'm the new refuge superintendent. I'm looking forward to the challenges of the job. I think I've spent enough years out in the community to understand what the community needs are. And so one of my mission statements is to bring up refuse collections to 21st century means, because I think we've been doing it 19th century for a while. So in order to address those things, I've established a few objectives that I want to take on. Safety and efficiency being one of the main things that I want to tackle with the guys. So those are the first two things I want to work on. And then the other issues that we're having, especially with the equipment maintenance and everything, just trying to find ways how to reduce those costs. I have some ideas. I've kind of been paying a little bit of attention to what's been going on with the equipment. So I have a small idea of what's going on with it. So just trying to find ways to work with the district and with you guys on the board and with the mayor to find ways to improve upon what we have so that we can build good structures.
Welcome to
Congratulations, Chris.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yep.
So, that's it.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Forward to it, thank you.
So just to add that Mr. Carter has been in the refuge department before for quite a while, so he has a very good idea of what the challenges are and the activities.
Great. Thanks, Mike.
Terrific benefit.
Steve?
They have the staff reports.
Yep.
I was gonna point out that we had 87.4% phosphorus removal, but that's already been pointed out.
Sorry, Steve.
He beat you to
Stole
the
the thunder. Okay, any questions on the staff reports at all?
I only wanted to make just a brief comment on your 1115 report on your personal entry of unbelievable.
All right.
Quite unique. I want to just start, I want to read this because I think it's worth the public understanding that if they see something, say something. And in more ways than one. And when it comes to us here at the district, this is Steve's entry. Says on 11/15, unbelievable. My day was largely ruined while investigating the complaint of contractor's activity at 9th and Franklin Street. The contractor had applied paint stripper to the north side of a building at so-and-so address, and then was blasted onto the sidewalk, 9th Street, and started to go into a district stormwater drain. I contacted the city inspector department and worked together with an individual. The entire operation was immediately shut down, and as he said, this was unbelievable. There's a picture on here if you guys look at it, and what a unbelievable mess. That if the public has any questions as to something that doesn't look right, it's okay to make the call and to make sure that it's being done properly. Obviously, this should have been pumped in a different manner.
Yeah.
And controlled, and so there's a really good lesson, I think, for all of us to learn here, is that if something doesn't look right.
My recollection is a Joshua report.
Yeah, it is. I was out in my daily activities and I drove by that location you're talking about, and I had to double back and turn around because just driving by, it's like, did I see what I thought I saw? So I doubled back, came back around, and I took several pictures and notified Steve right away, and we got a crew out there to address the situation, clean the catch basin out, because I was right into one of our storm sewers right there, and then we, like you said, stopped the operations and made them do the proper cleanup.
Excellent, let's give credit where credit is due, then, John.
Thank you.
Excellent job, pass the word on these kind of things, because, you guys are the ones that are out there. I mean, we, of course, all live here as well, but
It all goes to the lake.
Yeah.
In this picture alone, I can see at least a half a dozen 88 violations as well. Just with that.
They didn't have a permit to shut down the site.
I'm sure they didn't. I don't see any
Opportunity
signs
to
of
learn.
Yes.
Opportunity to learn for many of us. Thanks for putting that in the report.
Yes, sir.
It's unbelievable.
When this is all done, you guys will sign this farmer's contract.
Okay. Thanks, Steve.
One quick question.
Yes, sir.
Yep, as well. Do we have to do anything as a board officially with Chris or anything? Should we? No?
Yeah, you should approve the mayor's appointment.
Okay.
Because you're a board that has.
Okay.
Yeah,
I assume that'd be pro forma.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna ask for
While we were on that.
for approval for Chris Carter to be our new refuge superintendent. Can I get a
Motion to approve.
second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You're welcome.
Boy, you're doing a great job.
All right. So Jim?
Well, other than being involved in some of the things that have already been talked about.
Sorry.
The litigation with Long Beach is still in the discovery stage. And I'll probably have something to talk about at the next meeting about that. I had sent out my amendments, raising my rates to $225. You should have it, so I just asked you to approve that. As Steve mentioned, we've been meeting periodically, every 2 weeks or so, on that shore extension project to the annexed area. It's moving ahead. There's going to be an attempt to, I think all of you are aware of this Indiana bat prohibition of cutting down trees bigger than, I think it's 3 inches on DV with diameter belt height, between March and October. And so to kind of move the project along and not have to wait that period of time, because there's trees that need to be cut in order to put in the sewer. Next board meeting, we're expecting to come before you with a proposal to advertise for bids to cut down the trees, and that's before the timeline. And there's also some issues out there regarding potential wetlands and whether or not any of them have they appear to be isolated, which means there'd be no federal jurisdiction. And whether or not there's any issues with IDEM about that. The engineers are checking with IDEM about that as to whether there's going to be any issue in reference to any digging that goes on and the installation of the sewer. So just to let you know that things are moving ahead. Hostin Associates are pursuing it. They're doing the project, the engineering for both the sewer, sanitary, and the water department. And when we meet with the water department, Chris Johnson, sanitary folks, and also Skylar York and Clarence Hulse.
Okay.
I'll answer any questions if anybody has them.
Okay.
Do we need to approve the rate increase? Or
Yeah, we're gonna have to do that, so.
Here, I got multiple copies.
Of course you would.
It's the same one as I emailed out
to us, right?
Yeah, emailed out to everybody.
It was emailed. I just figured since you had copies, you might as well have one. All right, any questions about Jim's rate increase?
Just the record is from the 200 to 225.
Yeah.
Problem.
So, can I get a motion from the board to increase our Jim Meyer and Associates rates with the Michigan Sanitary District from 200 to 225?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion's approved.
Okay, on the docket, which is next, is it okay if I go?
Yeah, please.
There's been a change in the controller's office. And the way I've done that in the past, is have the controller sign the docket and then have you guys sign the docket. I was told that I believe the new controller will be approved by the Board of Accounts. It's by the state. And that was supposed to happen today, but I haven't heard. So I will have the docket, all the outstanding dockets for you to sign at the next meeting.
Okay.
I just thought it was a cleaner way to do it, and so, once I give this to the
Okay.
which should happen tomorrow, and we'll be ready to go.
Okay. So do you want the, so Jim, do we have to formally approve all those before we sign them?
Yep.
Okay, so then we'll just do all of them at the next meeting then.
Okay.
All right, okay.
Yeah, and I'll, send them out the checks.
Are you okay with
Yeah,
that?
after our discussions that we've had, we thought there may be a potential for a lag
Right.
in getting the docket, so we will have to ratify and approve it. Approve this prior.
Okay.
Ratify is post, so.
Now, there was one, and that was to pay for the map, new map mapping stuff.
Yeah.
But you guys actually approved that whole thing.
So was there,
That was a lot.
with the mapping truck, wasn't there additional equipment that was needed for that?
There was like an additional, I believe, 16,000.
Okay.
But,
Some accessories and stuff.
yeah.
Correct.
I think actually it was part of it.
Okay.
I'd have to go back.
Okay.
But it was, I think, the actual truck mapping equipment in the truck was 288,000.
Okay.
So, it was, and I'm not sure if we actually.
Okay. All right. Do you know if we got the actual camera?
Did we get the camera done?
Yeah, we have all that, and then we had to have an additional hoist added, because in the original quote, the hoist wasn't there, because we had an additional assembly to the transporter, larger wheels, one of our larger types, and it was too heavy for the person to just, lower that by hand, so we needed a hoist, and we had the additional cost of hoist.
Josh, we held back on the new push camera and the locator device, right?
Yeah, that's something that would be nice to go back.
Request of the mayor, it was expensive, we, put it off.
Yeah,
Right.
something we could look at obtaining in the future.
Yep.
It was going to be real beneficial for our operations with that truck.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, Josh. Any old business? Any old business? Any old business? Any new business at all? Any new business?
Our mayor.
I know.
Our mayor's
I'm
new
getting there. So, any new business other than,
Just one word to Chris, welcome. And as you know, because I know you know some people who've worked here, I'm probably the only one who was around when you were here previously, and you have some really wonderful resources around you, a massive amount of years of experience, not just in yourself, but in many people in this room. So I just encourage you to definitely use all those resources in building your vision for that department. And we are,
No, I plan on.
oh yeah, there's a lot
Don't
of,
be a pest, don't take it personal, but.
we'll be here. We will be here.
Yeah,
All right, welcome.
thank you.
Mayor?
Oh, yeah. Well, good evening. Sorry for being late. I had another meeting, but I think they stole my thunder. So they already announced and all that. So, yeah. So I look forward to Tim being our city engineer and being on this board still. I appreciate that support and having him on board with the city and bringing Chris on as well. I think with the refuse department and what we've experienced over the last year, I think it's important that the city knows that, and the residents know that we are really looking forward to putting in some processes and making sure that we're a clean city and an inviting city. So I just thank you all and your board work that you're doing, and I look forward to it. So, and I'm a pest too, so I'll be asking a lot of questions, and I think that my experience in operations at NIPSCO and with the phone company, I will have a lot of questions. And so I just want to make sure that as we move forward, that we're all on the same page, because we know we're going to see a lot of growth in Michigan City. So thank you.
Excellent.
And I will verify she is a pest, because she kept on me and on me and on me.
In a good way.
Yeah, in a very good way.
That's compliments.
Well, it's good to have you as our city engineer, so when do you start officially?
July, I think, is when it started, right? No, my first day will be January 29th.
Yes.
Okay, all right, well, welcome aboard too on that position.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you, Mayor, thank you.
All right, can I get a motion to adjourn, please?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, meeting is adjourned, and we'll see you guys at the next regular meeting of Wednesday, January 24th, our first meeting of 2024. Thank you, guys.
And I will still just remember that.